An elephant was found in Luwande National Park. He was debilitated entirely and had a wire snare trap digging into the flesh of his leg near his foot. The poor animal could not move, feed, or even get water to alleviate his condition. It is said that hunters set snare traps to kill smaller, wild animals, not elephants. Unfortunately, though, a helpless elephant fell victim to it. This gained varied reactions on social media, where one Facebook user said, "Humans are the only species to demonstrate such inhumanity. We should be ashamed." Veterinarian Amanda Salb of Lilongwe Wildlife Trust and Derek McPherson of Clooney Wildlife Trust teamed up with the Rhino Protection Team and African Park Scouts to tranquilize the suffering animal and remove the gory snare. This picture shows them inserting the needle on which the IV lines are connected into the elephant's ear on which arteries are accessible. Usually, an endotracheal tube is inserted down the animal's throat. The IV will allow the veterinarians to monitor blood oxygen levels, while the tube ensures that the animal can continue breathing under anesthesia. Here, we see Dr. Salb injecting the tranquilizer fluid into the IV line. The others help to pull the uninjured leg up so that they're able to get to the injured one with the snare attached that is dug very deeply into his flesh. They probably had to more or less guess the weight of this particular young elephant in order to administer the correct dose. This adolescent must have really struggled to free himself, probably very confused and not sure what was holding him back. What an awful death he would have suffered. When the woozy pachyderm finally succumbs, now that he didn't have any resistance left, they got to work on his wound. Dr. Salb got to work on removing the horrible wire snare. Derek McPherson looks on, resting his hand on the poor, suffering elephant's trunk in a comforting gesture. Another helper looks on with some water with disinfectant to clear the wound of debris, etc., so that the snare can be seen properly to remove it. The vet has to use solid, sharp side cutters and strength to unwind the strong wire that the poachers use. And this is the offending, bloody snare tightly wrapped around the young elephant's leg, with a piece of flesh still embedded into it. It's always devastating to see the dreadful damage these snares can do to such a big animal, the Lilongwe Wildlife Center wrote on its Facebook page. Snares can cull animal populations at an alarming rate. Hunters and poachers set snare traps with the aim of killing smaller wild animals than elephants, which can decimate animal populations at an unsustainable rate, according to the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, or DSWT. Just 1,000 of these snares can capture 18,250 animals in a year, even elephants, whose population is already plummeting because of the ivory trade. To make things even sadder, the young elephant's wound appears to be infected. You can see that the wound is being cleaned out of blood and pus from the deeply cut leg of the elephant, which appears to be almost cut to the bone. Needless to say, this poor elephant must have been in a lot of pain. Luckily, while they work, he is safely in dreamland and not feeling the excruciating pain for the moment. The elephant's wound has been washed clean and is ready for some topical treatment. It's also noticeable that the animal has lost a lot of weight and looks very weak. And from the position of the person's hand, you can see the depth that the snare cut into the leg. The whole procedure went extremely well. Dr. Salb said, "Although the wound was really deep, we're all so pleased that we were able to remove the snare entirely and give him the required treatment." Looking at the photo, a game park ranger watches over the young elephant. The African Park Scouts and the Rhino Protection Team also helped in monitoring the condition of the animal. At this point, the procedure has been completed with topical ointments and antibiotics administered. Veterinarian Amanda Salb seems to be double-checking on the elephant, probably taking some measurements and statistics for their records. Wildlife vet Amanda Salb is the heroine, along with her team, in this important role of saving wildlife discovered alive in national parks. Many similar incidents occur on a regular basis in this huge park, and it's also because of its vastness that the difficulty of monitoring arises. Nevertheless, the world isn't lacking with people who show immense compassion for animals. A radio collar is fitted to the injured elephant. The elephant gets a radio collar so he can be found again for follow-up treatment. The elephant will continue to be monitored by African Park Scouts and the Rhino Protection Team. And if he needs any further treatment, wildlife vet Amanda Salb and her team will be on call. The Longway Wildlife Trust reported that despite his gory injury, the pain seemed to have subsided quickly, because the elephant was spotted at the watering hole with his herd 2 days after the rescue. He was bathing normally and seemed bright, Salb said. This elephant is one of the lucky few that got found in time and treated. The treatment was adequate, and the little fellow was strong. As elephants have long memories, I am sure he will not forget his horrific ordeal in a hurry. Let us hope the same thing does not occur again. Nearly 50% of animals living in the park have been slaughtered before Operation Safe Haven moved in November 2014. They detected and removed 10,000 deadly poachers' traps that covered the park, and arrested over 70 criminal poachers and 6 wildlife traffickers, securing hefty fines or prison sentences against the majority. At the end of Operation Safe Haven, the National Park security was handed over to a team of long-term managers, African Parks. The future of the elephants and rhinos here is now assured, and the breakthrough formula should be applied to other national parks. At least our young elephant is a bit safer in his habitat now. This photo alone tells just how rampant poaching is. The snares all look terrifying, considering that they are used as instruments to trap and slowly kill their poor victims.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.